Hi guys, and excuse me, welcome to my review of the Rose Technics QT-9 Mk2s. This is the second version of this QT-9, and by mistake, when I actually did the little kind of unboxing video, I mentioned it as being the referred to as the QT-9 Mk2, but no, it's actually the QT-9 Mk2s. Okay, S for special. No, just joking. Anyway, this is the box. I'm not going to go through the box. The feature that was the standout feature in terms of the box or of the unboxing experience, if you guys remember, was the fact that it brings two separate kind of cases. All right, one case obviously containing the earphones, and it can be used as the actual earphone protective casing, and the other one, which is exactly the same, which is what I've got in front of you here, is the one that brings all the accessories, and there's plenty of them. Cable adapter, MMCX removal, tips. I mean, it's got the whole 9 yards. So yeah, that's it. With regards to Rose Techniques, it's a company that I had never heard of. I'm not gonna say I had, because I'd never heard of, but as is the case, I'm always looking for new and novel products, stuff which not many people know about. And I came across their earbuds, which were the first ones that actually caught my attention, and then I dug a little bit more and actually found out that they also had IEMs. I've actually got two IEMs that I will be reviewing from them, the QT-9, which we have here. I'll just refer to it as the Mk2s from now on, and another one which is a smaller, which is called the Aura, small little IEM, which also, from my initial listening tests, very much surprised me. The IEM itself is what you see here. I'm using a cable which is the same as the stock cable. Okay, it's exactly the same. It's this cloth covered cable, but this one is of a thicker, let's say, wire. Okay, more gauge wire, and it's a 2.5 millimeter. Okay, MMCX connector. The shells are tiny. If you guys will recall from my little unboxing video, I mentioned that actually the shells reminded me a lot of the Tanchjim Oxygen, Tanchjim Hana kind of overall size and feel, although in terms of the fit, the nozzle length here is bigger, so it actually fits nicer than the Oxygens and the Hana and so on. But it's a tiny little shell, so it fits very nicely, good noise isolation, and inside we have 4 BAs paired 2x2, okay, and then this dynamic driver, which I insist is for sure definitely larger than 10 millimeters. It looks larger than 10 millimeters, 10.2, 10.4. I don't think it's 11 millimeters, but it's definitely larger than 10 millimeters. It's an LCP driver from what I can ascertain, let's put it that way. And yeah, that's it. So noise isolation, fitment, fatigue of usage, none of those are an issue. They all, at least for me, are scoring highly. Okay, as for now, what is the most important part, which is the sound. Oh, actually, let me just refer as well. They come available in other colors. I just chose this jade green because I just think it looks absolutely gorgeous in this jade green. A little touch up would be that, okay, this is not exactly a cheap IEM, in the sense that, yes, when we are hovering around $200, we expect certain things, and although you can see that the quality of the shell is there, you feel it on the resin, and you can see that it's a quality shell. It can come across, due to its weight, as being a little bit flimsy, okay, a little bit delicate. That's the only little thing I wanted to maybe put out there, but like I said, up to now, no issues. They seem sturdy enough, and you can definitely see that the material that was used, at least, was high quality material. Okay, for my listening tests, I used a number of devices. I used my DX3 Pro, but the majority of it was done with either my NX7 Frankenstein Monster, which I alternate between using the BTR3K for Bluetooth connectivity, or then the Creative SFXI as the DAC for the amp, or then I used my Tri-TK2, which you guys know that I'm a big fan of. Having mentioned this, the reason why I did it is simple. One has a very clinical sound, the TK2. The TK2 has got a very, some people might even consider it sterile kind of sound, while the other has definitely this combination with either one of the DACs. With the topping, it gives it a warmer tonality, and some might say that, okay, this is more colored, this is more neutral, this will be more correct. Look, to each its own. That's the reality. But the reason why I did this was I actually saw big differences between the two of them and the Mk2s, in terms of how the Mk2s presented itself, and that difference I also saw with the other IEMs that I have here for you guys, and that I used as a comparison. Although in some I saw more differences, in others I saw less difference. So all of this mumble jumble to say what? That yes, what you are using to power your IEMs will ultimately dictate what the sound will be like, because it has to do with the matching, how the impedances of the earphone match with the output impedance of the actual amplifier. This will affect the signature of the sound and everything. Okay, so let me just tell you what I have here and what I used for comparing it. Moondrop Blessing 2, not the Dusk version. C Audio Yume Midnight Edition, the critical collaboration. AudioSense AQ4, and on the right side here we have the GS Audio GD5, and the center obviously the Mk2s. Each one of them with very particular characteristics. These two perhaps the more let's say laid back kind of tuning, and these two the more pronounced, the more vibrant, more alive kind of tuning. Okay, the Blessing needs no introduction in terms of its abilities to detailed retrieval and to pick up on little nuances on the song and go fetch everything, vocals. It's a tremendous IM. It begs no introduction from me, so what can be considered a fault, and with some of the music that I listen to, I mean, not so much stuff which is vocal focused, I will see that, but when it's a song that has a little bit more let's say bass to it, like for example Jeff Cascaro's The Lady's Not Amused, that song has a nice bass line to it, and there you will definitely notice. Also Mary Magdalene, another song that has a nice bass line, and here you might see, well, not it's not a flaw, but see that the bass is suffice for the rest, but it is a thin bass, it's not a pronounced bass. C Audio Yume, again, needs basically no introduction. It's an updated, upgraded version of the original Yume. The main focus here has been to improve extension and technical abilities of the IEM, whilst at the same time giving it a little bit extra sub-bass focus. Very nice sounding, very relaxed. It's one of those IEMs that you can listen to for hours and hours and hours. And my only thing with it, my only little, let's say, by no means a deal breaker, is that for the price that it costs, it could be a little more detailed. Okay, I never heard the original, so I'm basing that that improvement that people talk about on those reviewers that actually heard both. I've got a Yume ordered, but it's still in transit, so once I do get it, I can confirm that for myself. But that's it. Then we come here to the AQ4 and to the GD5. The AQ4 is one of my recs along. Well, the C audio is also a rec around $200 if you're looking for a more laid-back sound. But if you want a really nice engaging hybrid, in this case a 1+3, around the $200 mark, it's actually cheaper. You can pick this up for around $179 more or less. The AQ4 is definitely the one to go for. It has what some have considered a little bit of an excess in the bass department. Personally, I don't find it that way, although yes, I will admit that that extra energy that it has sometimes can color specific songs in a way which is unnecessary. Okay, and for example, one song that jumps to mind is Forbidden Fruit from Candace Springs. Her voice just sounds overly warm, and it's because of the way the bass has been just emphasized. Let's put it that way. Personally, I like the AQ4 a lot. I think it's probably one of the best audio sense earphones. The DT300, the all BA 3BA unit, is another one which I think doesn't get much love, and it's a tremendous IEM. The AQ0, the single DD as well, again another IEM which is tremendous. And yes, the DT600 and T800 are also very good. But if I have to mention ones that really jump out, the DT300, AQ0, and the AQ4, amazing. Nice, full bodied vocals. Nothing is forward, nothing is sibilant. Treble is very well done. It's not aggressive, it's not harsh. Where does it maybe fail or leaves somewhat to be desired? Well, the detailed retrieval, the ultimate detailed retrieval, could be slightly better if there was a little bit more treble. But like I said, not a deal breaker. Overall, it's a fantastic IEM. Finally, the GD5. The GD5 is an IEM that I reviewed already quite a long time ago. Let me just remove these out of the way here so we can actually get a better. It has the typical GS Audio kind of signature, which is a really quick, fast, impactful bass, definitely well done. And then all of GS Audio products, they have this tendency of being a little bit energetic around 5, 6, 7. So they always have this very nicely executed bass line. The way the bass just it kind of glides into the mids, it just goes nicely smooth into the mids. Yes, it's sub bass focused, but it doesn't bleed into the mids, and it's very well done. It's super quick, super impactful. Very much reminds you of a well done BA bass. But then they always have this tendency of then having a nice smooth pinna gain, and then they carry on rising, and that area there of 5, 6, 7K almost can sometimes be just a little bit too much. And in the case of the GD5, it is slightly emphasized, but not to the point where it spoils things. No, it doesn't spoil things. Although with certain songs, yes, you can see a little bit, or you can feel that you are a little bit on the edge, just about to start becoming sibilant, just about to start becoming aggressive. And that's the reason why I didn't rec it as a hybrid option. Purely, well, if you do like that forward kind of mids, and yes, definitely then go for this. You won't regret it. But if you are more along the lines of my personal taste, you like everything to be in the right amounts, with the right amount of energy, be engaging. Like I said in a review recently, I like very much the IM, which can be a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Okay, under certain conditions, it's very relaxed, very laid back, very unassuming, and then when pushed, it goes another direction. It brings out the beast in the IM. Let's put it that way. Well, all of this long story in this presentation to say what? To say that the Rose Technique, the Mk2s, really, really surprised me. I was not expecting this. I did not expect it, and this brings me to say the following: that with so many products being launched, constantly, and especially over the last 2 years, the amount of products that every month are released are just ridiculous, and I try to a certain extent to keep up, as those of you that follow me will know. And yes, there have been a fair amount of disappointments. There have been a fair amount of IMs that I've bought, and I said to myself, oh my god, I just threw money away. The Mk2s was not one of those. Tremendous. The first thing that immediately jumps to you, and especially if you use it with this NX7 Frankenstein combination, let's put it that way. So if I use it with this, especially with this, the bass is ultra clean, ultra textured, ultra impactful. It hits you hard, clean, slams in and out. Mids are to die for. Seriously, the mids are really well executed. It's got a nice dip there around the 5-6K area, which is the sibilant area. It is really, really well executed. Very good extension up top. I mean, in terms of how cohesive the frequency response is, there's absolutely nothing that I personally can fault it for. It's got a kind of W signature, let's put it that way, but everything is very much within that 8 dB band, so it maintains everything very controlled, very balanced, and nothing jumps out. Nothing. There is obviously, like I mentioned, the bass, it catches your attention because of the texture that it has, but nothing is done in a way that when you actually increase the volume, it just will increase out of proportion. So it scales really well. I mean, let me put it to you this way. Like I said, all of these IMs are excellent, and the Mk2s for me goes and fetches a little bit. It goes and drink a little bit from the other ones to come together in a nice package. It has times where I was kind of in the doubt: was I listening to the Mk2s or was I listening to the Blessing, especially with the female voices, because of how well it does them. Okay, it really does the female voices really, really nicely. In terms of bass, the quality of the bass of the Blessing 2 is unquestionable, but this has the same quality and quantity, and it's very, very nicely done. So in terms of the bass, yes, it surpasses the Blessing 2. In terms of the mids, I would say the Blessing 2 just slightly edges it out. Does that justify spending over the Mk2s another $110? Well, I'll leave that to you guys to decide. Over the Yume, way more engaging, way more fun than the Yume. The Yume is a very nice IM, but it's very laid back. So for me personally, and with the music that I listen to, and like, for example, even like Gregory Porter, Halora or Holding On. Yes, that plays it very well. I mean, the Yume, no, the Midnight, no issues there. But you listen to those two songs, for example, or the latest Not Amused from Jeff Cascaro again, like I said. You listen to it here and it's very high fidelity, but this has just got that touch of fun. It's got that little bit of spice, you know, the little bit of hot sauce that makes it very, very satisfying. Very satisfying. And especially once you found a tip that works for you and you have the source that matches with it perfectly, you will not regret it. As compared with the GD5, it is an overall superior IEM to the GD5 in the sense that it's just more coherently done. So it's not that the GD5 is bad or no, that's not the issue. But it is better sounding overall, technically more capable. Everything is more balanced in the Mk2s as compared to the GD5. I hope that the next iteration of the GD5 will improve upon its little flaws that it has, and I'm sure it will, because GS Audio, they are a smart company and they have the tendency of listening to what people want to convey to them, the opinions of their customers. They listen to it. Finally, they reference the the AQ4 from AudioSense. They are similar and they are different. Yes, you do notice that the sub bass on the AQ4 is more pronounced as opposed to the Mk2s, but the bass here by comparison seems sloppy. This is fast, impactful. This is slow by comparison. It's not slow if you listen to it by itself, but it can come across that way. Unconditional is one of the songs where I do notice that the bass here is quicker. Okay, Unconditional from Soul Persona. Deeper from Pete Belasco, a song that or Control You by Movement is a song, two songs that I usually use as well. And deeper, yes, you get better reproduction here, or more gratifying reproduction here. Better is relative, it all depends on a personal taste. But Control You by Movement, it sounds better on the Mk2s, more satisfying the Mk2s. So in conclusion, what is the final decision about the Mk2s? If this was a reference that was like kind of the main one, and a progressive in the evolution of, let's say, for example, as I mentioned when I did the review, you have a GS Audio GD3C, fantastic IEM. The upgrade will be the AudioSense AQ4, and the upgrade from the AudioSense AQ4 will be the soft ears volume. Obviously, this is my opinion, and from what and using what I usually listen to. Okay, this has now become an alternative in that, let's say, stepping ladder, in that upgrade ladder. And so I'm not going to say it's better than the AQ4 or it's worse. It is different. It does certain things. It's a little bit more, I think, it's so hard sometimes to try and convey certain things. They are both very, very good IEMs, very revealing. Male voices, female voices, instruments. But I think ultimately what will be the deciding point between the two, okay, and this is again my personal opinion, will be the tonality and the timbre. Do you like a more warm tonality, more kind of lush feeling tonality and timbre to everything, or do you like things a little bit more tidier? If you like tidy, Mk2s. If you like lush, AQ4. I think that's the best kind of way I can summarize things. So yeah, guys, that's my take on the Rose Technics. It's been an absolute pleasure over the last few days. I've got a lot of IEMs that I've been having to review because I backlogged a lot and a lot of stuff was just delayed in arriving. But definitely I will tell you this much. That's part of my usual rotation. That really isn't part of my usual rotation. This is part of my rotation when I'm doing reviews. This is part of my rotation when I'm doing reviews. This will be part of my daily rotation. So this joins the AQ4 as an IM that I will definitely listen to it, if not every day, every other day. That's how satisfying and engaging I actually think the QT-9 Mk2s is. Okay. Anyway, guys, as usual, if you like the content, subscribe. If you don't like it, hey, tell me as well. I do my very best to bring you the best reviews possible, the most information possible. So if I don't get any feedback from you, I don't know where to improve, what not to improve. If there are any comparisons that you would like me to do, please let me know. I try my absolute best to answer every single question that I get, and sometimes it is a little bit overwhelming, mind you, because a lot more questions than what I was expecting. But that's a good thing. It means that people like what I'm doing, they like my work, they like my reviews, and that's what I want. I want people to, I want to feel that the money that I spend to bring you this is not done in vain. It's not something that I just got an extra amount of money that I just want to blow and that's it. No, I want to feel that I am bringing something positive to the table. So I need you guys to give me some feedback. Okay. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.